So this one's going to be probably a bit shorter than the normal solo talks that I do. I was set. I think I shared either on excuse me, either on the Twitter page or one of the social media facets that we use. Is that the right word? You know what I meant. One of the methods we use to share information with you, I said that I was going to be going live at the 3:30 hour, but instead I'm doing that a little early today so that I can. I got a few other things that are going on today, and I'm going to try to fit everything into my last day off of the week before we get pretty much a whole month off, which is great. I'm very stoked about that. I couldn't be happier that we've got a lot of time off coming up in the month coming. I've got just enough gigs to keep me above water, and that is right where I need to be. Just enough gigs to keep me right where I need to be, and I'm pretty stoked about that. Anyway, so I've been doing some things lately with the YouTube videos that I'm sure you guys have noticed if you're a regular YouTube watcher. I have begun. Oh, and this is probably in the last five, six, 7 episodes maybe that I've begun to chop the front end of the video off, which you guys I've said over and over. And added some links at the end. So now I'm going to start stepping up a little bit more and actually editing out. Like if there's something in a video that's just not relevant to the conversation, that like if say I'll go off on a tangent when I'm talking to Jeff or whoever I'm talking to, and let's say I go off on a tangent that doesn't really have anything at all to do with the conversation. And after I say said thing or whoever says said thing, we don't then go in and explain why we brought that up. I'm going to start cutting those things out. And to do so, I want to up my game as far as editing software goes, because the YouTube editing software is fantastic, and I didn't even realize I had that as an option. But recently they've added a few more. They've added a few more new perks to that, so I'm really stoked that I have that option now. But I want to step that game up a little bit more. My sinuses are killing me, man. Anytime the weather changes, my sinuses either dry out or completely flood the insides. Right now they just feel flooded. But I want to start editing videos a bit better than I have been to make it a better viewing experience and listening experience for you guys. And to do so, I'm going to need to buy some new products. Now, I do understand that this is the holiday season and money is tight for everybody, and that's totally understandable. And I'm not going into this discounting that fact. So just know that. But I've started. I'm sorry, I left my water sitting over there. I'll grab it in a second. I left my GoFundMe page alone for a really long time after we upped our goals, and I think it's time to break that back out. I've shared on Facebook, and I actually promoted for a week to see if I get any more hits than not. And Facebook promotions work really weirdly. Like I posted this one thing on Facebook the other day for the Sunset Grill page, and it was literally just a sentence. And I got more likes and shares and reactions and people reached through just a single sentence than I did sharing about this the GoFundMe thing that I've done so far, which we're still in the middle of that promotion, so I'm not sure how that's going to be so far. But I've just noticed that the Facebook promotion thing is not as it's not as beneficial to the person purchasing that stuff as it says it will be, and that's almost 100% of the time. But anyway, that's beside the point. I am going to be pushing this GoFundMe thing for the duration. I'm going to continue to use it. I'm also doing the Patreon thing now full time, like I haven't been in the past. I'm sorry. I have to grab my water real quick, guys. Give me just a second. It's right there. Okay, got it. Sorry about that. So I haven't been using my Patreon page as of late like I would like to. And I have, I remedied that over the last week, and now I'm posting everything that I post on Facebook. I also post to Patreon. Now, Patreon is the kind of thing that's a website for creators. If you have anything that you've created or anything that you have given the world that you feel may be able to be monetized, Patreon is a way that you can go and you can have people who appreciate your content and who want to monetarily show that they appreciate your content, so they can commit to a certain dollar amount that they'll donate every month. Now, that is a really cool thing for people in my situation or people in any situation. I'm taking a page out of Michael Swaim's book for Small Beans, is what he's done for all the crack.com people who regrouped after that split up. And it's doing really well for them. It's my buddy Jamie Deluxe, who I'm one day going to get Jamie to get in here and talk about all of the fine things surrounding a word that I will not say right yet, just until we get him on here. But it's something that you eat and everybody loves it. And it's a way to get into a yard that's got a closed fence around it. Hey, do some wordplay there. It really works out for a lot of people that I know and see. And I want to get in on that. I want to get in on the ground level of this Patreon thing, because I don't know a lot of people who have them, other than the few that I mentioned. But anyway, that's where we're at. So to do all of the video editing things that I want to do, I'm going to need new editing software. I'm inevitably going to need a new computer here. And that's just going to cost some dollars. So, like I said, I understand that this is the holiday season and not a lot of people have dollars, and it probably won't do so well over the next month. But I'm going to continue to be pitching this, and I apologize for doing so in such a long-winded way just now, but I'm going to get to some actual content here in a second. But I just really, really want you guys to, if you feel that you can afford to help out at all, by all means. I've shared the GoFundMe page from the Facebook, from the Patreon, from every aspect of social media that I have. I've shared the GoFundMe link. And also the Patreon link is not hard to find either, if that's something that's more along the lines of something you'd be willing, or you'd be willing to donate to rather than the GoFundMe. By all means, that's also an option. But I don't want this whole thing to be me sitting here asking for money, so I am going to talk about something that bothers me, and I apologize for doing that. I try my best to be mindful of people not wanting to listen to me bitch all the time, but I also want to remind listeners that one of the main reasons why I have this podcast is so that I can say the things to the world and to be publicly heard that I want to say and be publicly heard, but don't necessarily want to say them in front of whoever they might be about, if you get what I mean. It's a vessel for me to say something to somebody without actually saying it directly to them, so that they might hear it. You know, that's what I use this for. And by the way, that somebody is not necessarily somebody else. That somebody sometimes is me. That somebody is most of the time me. Most of the time I'm talking to myself. And you guys will hear me when I come to a realization about something that I'm struggling with in my life, and I find the answer on air here. So that happens more often than not. But I just let me take a sip of this fine water I'm waiting for here. Nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. So do you guys have like one of those friends or one of those, I don't want to say friends. Do you guys have one of those people that you interact with, that you're forced to interact with, like say a coworker or somebody that you have to see all the time, that just drains you, that just mentally and emotionally just drains you? Like, you'll get to the point to where you'll dread being around said person, because every time you are, it's just a heightened stress level, and this is like it's just somebody who's, you can't get away from it. It's like I guess a coworker is the best way to describe this. If it's something that you can't do away with because you need it, but to deal with the one person that it just stresses you out to no end. And sometimes this person that you're dealing with is not aware of how stressful they are, or the stress that they create, or just how, literally just, I think I've said enough on that, how stressful they are, or the stress that they create. I don't think that they're aware of that. Do you guys have that? Do you guys deal with that? Like they just deal with, like, you have, no matter what it is that you try to grasp in your mind that will make this a good experience and a fun time, or a good, happy go at whatever day you're dealing with. It's like this person just completely robs you of that, because, and I don't even think that it's their fault. It's just I just don't think they're putting the brain power into how what they do affects other people. And do you guys deal with that? And I'm curious, because I was having a conversation with somebody, not Jeff, yesterday. Don't think it was. Don't try to figure out who I was speaking with, but it wasn't Jeff. But there was somebody I was talking to the other day who has this situation, and it was actually yesterday, and they are just dealing with a situation to where they're stuck in the situation with a person. They have to continually be stuck in this situation with said person, and it just drives them mad to have to deal with this person so that they can continue on the monetary road that they're on. And I've dealt with that in recent history, and that was honestly how this conversation was started. Is that this person brought up a situation that they were going through, and I have a similar situation, kind of a similar situation, and we started talking about this, and I was like, well, at what point are you allowed to have that conversation with that person? And their situation is a bit different from the one that I was dealing with. Not because it's obviously not the exact same, but it's a situation to where that person may potentially feel the same way about them or me that I or this other person I'm speaking of feel about their said coworker. And I wondered how many more people deal with that situation. Like, is that a common part of adulthood? Because I'm new at adulting. I'm new at being an adult. Is adulthood literally just a long string of dealing with people that you don't want to deal with and doing things that you don't want to do just to make money? And if so, then how do we change that? What do we do to change those rules? Because there are no rules here. There's no rules in this game. Things should be able to be changed at any given moment, at any time. Things can always be changed. You can always walk out of a situation. You can always get out of a situation you don't want to be in. Things are always able to be changed in this game. There are no rules. So why do we continue to play by the same rules? Why do we continue to do things that rob us of joy elsewhere in our lives just to bring monetary gain into our world? Because we need money. So I mean, you have to remain with whatever this situation is to continue your cash flow. But at what point is it appropriate to say, "Hey, I'm not getting anything out of this situation outside of money"? And unfortunately, it takes a little bit more than money to lead me to a happy life. So I am a little bit more interested in living a happy life than I am money at this point in my life. And when is it that you are just able to say, "Hey, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be subject to this anymore." And this person I was talking to saying, "Hey, I don't want to work with you anymore. I'm sorry, but." And then I'm like, you have to be careful about how you say things because everybody has feelings. Everybody gets their feelings hurt at some point in their lives. And I know that this is no different situation than any of them. There's feelings that will be hurt in any situation or any conversation that has to be had. But if it's robbing you of your own happiness, and I'm not trying to say this in a selfish way because it's not like a look out for number one situation, but you are the only person who's going to be laying in your bed at night every night. Every night. And I'm not saying that you're sleeping alone every night. You could have somebody in bed with you. Congratulations. That's not what this is about. You are the only person who every single night you lay in bed, you're going to be there with yourself. Not by yourself, with yourself. You're going to be there every single night, and you're the one that you're going to have to deal with every day. You're with yourself 100% of your time. 100% of your time, you're with yourself. You have to be happy being with yourself throughout all these situations, or why do this thing? So that being said, yeah, if you have to do that, hurt some feelings or say whatever needs to be said to get situations out in the open and get something under control or more so under control than it already is, and it may be, if that's you walking away from whatever it is that gives you monetary gain, then by all means, walk away from it. Do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you got to do. Like other things happen. Like I'm a prime example of that. If you just do what you love to do, money will show up. Just do whatever makes you happy, and the money will show up. And that's how this works. But I am still in the weird limbo phase of not in the person I was talking with situation, but my own, in where in recent weeks I've actually been looking at my situation in a different light, just to see if maybe I'm like, say, just misreading my personal situation because of my viewpoint of it. I'm trying to switch around a little bit and see if maybe it's not the way that it is that I've created in my mind, but completely different, and I'm just too foolish to see it. And I've tried to alter that lately. And every time I get to a point to where I'm like, yeah, you know what? This situation isn't that bad. This situation isn't that awful. I'm actually not in a bad spot, and this is okay. I can continue to do this. I'm fine with that. Something else will happen that's like, oh, that's why I doubted whether I wanted to continue to do this or not. And these situations never cease to find me. I don't know how or why, but these situations never cease to enter themselves into my life, where to make me constantly question, do I want to be a part of this anymore? Do I want this to define me? Do I want this to be the thing that I carry with me into the next level of my life. And I think that happens in anybody's job. I think that happens in anybody's work. If you get to a certain point to where you're like, okay, you can stay with this company that you've been with for a really long time and you can advance to the next level. But then you look in the bullpen, you look around you and you're like, okay, I want to go to that next level. I wouldn't mind making it to that next level, but do I want to do it with the company that I'm in right now? Do I want to do it? Do I want to deal with the same problems? Now, granted, dealing with the same problems that you've always dealt with is a simple way to make things a little easier on you. It's a little easier to deal with a situation if you kind of know what to expect already, I guess. But it's also, if you look at just your own mental health and your own emotional health, and you weigh out you see if the juice is worth the squeeze, so to speak. You weigh out your options, and you're like, okay, so is it mentally worth it for me to continue? Like, if we're already at this stress level, at a certain level in our company's history or life, if you will, then what is that stress level going to go to if we move to the next level? And do I want to be part of that? And I think the answer is no, but I don't know because I just don't know. I haven't been prompted with enough evidence to decide whether or not I want to continue with the situation that I'm already going into. And if people know me well enough, they'll know the situations that I'm talking about, and are no stranger to all of these little analogies and word mazes I'm working out here. But I wonder, in this situation, after said events occur, it's important to me to be thought of highly. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing, and I think that's a healthy thing. I think that's something that most people do not take into consideration as much as they should, because unfortunately, just being a good person isn't enough. Being a good person and having people know that you're a good person, in my opinion, is more important than just being a good person. My sinuses keep draining. But the reason I say that is because after you're gone, that's all that's going to be left is what people say about you. After you're dead and gone, all that's going to be left is what people talk about you and what people say about you. And I want those things that people say about me to be good, wholesome, honest, true things, honest things. I don't want people to know in the back of their mind something and say something completely different out of respect for me. I want people to be able to say truthfully things about my life that I did correctly, or things in which I made wholesome decisions. So I say all of that to ask this question. If, say, something does go down in the situation that I'm currently in, and I react how normal humans would react to similar situations for the betterment of their own soul, mental health, emotions, however you want to put that, then where does that land me on the other side of this? Where does that land me as far as how people will remember what was done? Will it be like, I'm watching this thing on the Civil War. Will it be like surrendering to save the lives of the rest of your men? Or would it be like bowing out and walking away? because one of the two is what it's going to be. And I'm curious. I'm curious as to how it will be remembered. And don't read too much into this. I'm using this as a way to just hear myself talk and try to figure out where my mind is at in a certain situation. And don't think anything too far into what I'm saying. Like if you're trying to piece together what I'm talking about, or maybe piece this as some information that might be broken, and not necessarily like broken and needs to be fixed, but out into the open, like a news story breaking. I don't want this to feel like that is what's going on here, because it's not. It's literally just me thinking out loud and trying to figure out where I am, I guess, where I am and where I want to go and where I want to be and who I want to do that with and what I want to be a part of when I am prompted with the opportunity to go to the next level or whatever have you. I'm just rethinking my options is all I'm saying. And it's not that, and I feel like it's not that I'm necessarily rethinking my options for my own account. It's almost like I've been forced into rethinking my options, because it's like, okay, well, I gave this an opportunity. I gave this a shot. I wanted to see if things were different, and things are not different, obviously. So I feel like the only reason I want to remain part of a situation that I'm in is if things change. And if things aren't going to change, and I can tell that things aren't going to change, then do I want to be a part of it anymore? Do I want to continue to do that and ride that wave? And I don't know. I don't think I will know. I got Irish in me, so I'll deal with something being fucked up for the rest of my life, but I got that from The Departed. But who knows? I just don't know. I don't know if it's in my best interest to remain in the situation that I'm in, nor is it in the best interest of those around me. But I do have that whole thing where I think about what people would think. And I think about what people would do and what people would say if I act out of this situation the way that my gut is telling me to. Then I feel like I owe too much to the people who owe too much to the people who are around me in this situation to just react the way that my gut is telling me to. And I don't like that. I don't like that thought. I don't like the fact that, oh, well, if this situation plays out the way that I have it in my head playing out, it doesn't paint me as a good guy. And all I want to be is a good guy. I want to be the good guy. That's all I want to be. I guess that's my answer. I guess I just got to be the good guy. I will always choose that. I will always choose that. Oh, well. All right. Well, this is, like I said, this is a short talk. I've really got not a whole lot more to talk about. Just a doozy of a situation that's going on, and I'm a doozy of a situation indeed. I'm not feeling it, and I'm honestly glad I found somebody else who was going through a similar situation yesterday, so that we could bounce our stories off of each other and be like, okay, this will actually help both of us. I think this will help both of us work through this situation that we're going through in our own lives. Hopefully, I don't know, but either way. All right. So John Dabrowski is going to be coming on the podcast to talk about certain things that are going on in his life as of late. That's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. Brother Zach Williams is going to be doing a call-in episode from up in the great state of Ohio. He's going to be calling us in next next Tuesday sometime. I think it's going to be that'll be a late episode. That'll be around the 10 o'clock, 10:30 hour Tuesday night. Let's see. I think there is something else scheduled for Sunday, and I apologize for whoever that may be, but it slips my mind right now. Either way, please go to the GoFundMe page and donate if that is your heart's desire, and or the Patreon if that is your heart's desire. But whether it is your heart's desire or not, I would certainly appreciate it if you would go to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of these situations. I'm saying situations a lot today, aren't I? Sorry. All of these pages, if you would go to those and follow, like, subscribe, do all of that to all of these different pages, and keep up with all of the things that we're releasing on all those different pages. As far as the Twitter and Facebook, most of those things that I'll release on both of those, or on all of the things, you can pick one of those to follow, which I'm fine with. But the Instagram gets the pictures, and then they're posted on Twitter and Facebook. So if you follow one of the three, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, you're going to be getting most of the content that I release on every single one of those from one place. But if you just go ahead and follow all of them, that'd be great. All right. That's all I got for you today as far as content. I'm going to do a little intro and then get out of the YouTube world. In YouTube world, if you guys would just hang tight for just a second, let me get the intro done, and then click all the links that I put up at the bottom of the page. That'd be great. All right, audio folks, I love you. I mean it. In a world full of shitty people, world full of people making decisions to be shitty, don't be that person. Be a good person. Be good people. Peace, bitches. All right, let me do the intro here. Hey, guys, how you living? Are you doing well? Good, glad to hear that. I used this opportunity on Wednesday, since I recorded a talk with Brother Jeff Thomas yesterday on Tuesday, which was an off day. I used this Wednesday obligatory recording slot to pitch my GoFundMe a little bit and the Patreon a little bit, and I did that in the first, after the intro, it was probably 6 or 7 minutes worth of pitching the pages and whatnot and all the other stuff. But so I'm not gonna repeat all that stuff again. You'll hear that in a second. But please do go to all the pages. Go to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon. Just Google MI stuff. Google MI stuff, click everything that comes up, like all of those things. Subscribe to the YouTube page. We've upped our subscriptions by 7 in the last 28 days, trying to do more than that. Also, really want to thank you guys so much for listening. I want to check real quick online here and make sure I get these numbers right. We have had some insane download numbers, ranked the highest I've ever been ranked today, ladies and gentlemen. Just found out about this. Number 28 on Podomatic. We are number 28 in Society and Culture, guys. Over this week's stats, let's click here and see what we've got number-wise. We have had so many downloads. I talked to a lot of people who were like, yeah, man, my online crew. I've talked to a lot of people that have suggested the podcast to a lot of people, and there's a lot of folks binging. 686 downloads in the last 7 days, ladies and gentlemen. We are ranked number 28 in Society and Culture in podcasts, number 698 overall. Y'all, there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts that are ranked in this same bank that I am part of, and we are number 698 over all of them. Number 28 in tens of thousands of podcasts in Society and Culture. That is awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening. That is an absolute... I don't even know what to think about that. Jesus. So that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate everything that you do to make this podcast worthwhile for me to continue to do. And 24 page visits, like there's so many people who are visiting this page now and listening to this podcast through facets that I never thought were possible. And I have you guys to thank for that again. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate that. But if you have it in your heart to help somebody out at all that's doing something they love to do, I love doing what I'm doing. And if you feel like you want to help out at all, the GoFundMe and the Patreon are there for you. So I thank you for that once again. I don't think I got anything else. I say this at the end, but John Dabrowski's going to be coming on soon. We're going to get that episode up where he can talk about what's going on in his world right now, which a lot of you folks are aware of that situation. But we're gonna get him in here so he can talk about that in an unedited manner. So that's going to happen. Also, Zach Williams is going to be calling on next Tuesday, and we're going to talk about God knows what. But anyway, that's all I got for you. So without further ado, here's episode number 83 of In My Stuff. Enjoy, motherfuckers. Well done. All right, YouTubers, click the links at the bottom of the page. Do that. Click the links at the bottom of the page. Be good people. Love you. Mean it.